and get you to think critically. Well, instead of just doing straight sets or a big circuit, because that circuit isn't optimal, let's help you understand programming with a CCA. So what we teach at Show Up is movement competence. Howdy, y'all. It's your favorite trainer with a belt buckle, helping you better understand programming. If you have not read the book, Volume 2 is out. This is the Bible for personal trainers. Show Up Fitness CPT, the best certification in fitness, the fastest growing new certification, not like the old dogs in the 80s. If you want to become qualified, get your Show Up Fitness CPT, soft tissue mobilization certification, nutrition coach certification. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down a shitty post from a company out there. You can check it out over here. Not making fun of this dude, the guy in the video, but the irony in how this company contradicts perfect form, but yet the post is absolutely terrible, showing you these global gym certifications focus on programming exercises that have no basis from a scientific standpoint on what they're actually trying to accomplish. So we have a hiker who wants to get better at hiking. So you need to look at specific adaptation to impose demand. These are the principles of movement. And then overload, a needs analysis. Look at the individual and the patterns that are required for that movement. What we have here are exercises that are bilateral and fixed. When we do a lat pull down, the form sucks. When you do a hack squat and they say power, the definition of power is force times velocity. If we're doing 12 to 20 reps as they suggest, that means the weight is light. So in order to produce maximal power, you need to move fast and explosive, which the individual is not doing. It's a fixed exercise, which is a great exercise to do if you want to get jacked quads and a big old booty, but not if you're trying to improve hiking. You'd probably want to be doing some type of transitional or unilateral pattern. Then we do a seated row with the form terrible, and then we have shitty push-ups, and then we have shitty planks. And this one really pisses me off because in other posts, they will do exercises and the individual will have a slightly hyperextended neck and they'll lose their shit. This person's gonna get hurt. But yet then they post exercises with the exact shitty form. So this is why you need to learn from a fitness company. Ask questions to professionals. So if you were to design this program, you bring it to class, we would help educate you and get you to think critically. Well, instead of just doing straight sets or a big circuit, because that circuit isn't optimal, let's help you understand programming with a CCA. So what we teach at Show Up is movement competency, looking at the individual. When you assess them, you're there on time, you look the part, you're smiling, you're reading a book. You're not scrolling on your phone. You set that professionalism from the get-go. You go through your power cue, you ask great questions, you reiterate what they want, then you take them through a workout based on what they're capable of. We don't do some stupid movement screens. We look at the patterns that are specific for what their goals are. A squat, a hinge, a unilateral, transitional if it's important, which it is for this individual, a push horizontally, a pull horizontally, a press, and a vertical pull. Those are the 8 core movement patterns. So you break it up based on the individual's goals. You do a warm-up, hit the 10 checkpoints of human movement, ankle, knee, hip, lumbar, thoracic, spine, shoulder, elbow, wrist, breathing drills. You make sure the individual's ready for the workout. 2-3 minutes. If you need to incorporate some soft tissue mobilization techniques, our certification allows for trainers to implement these techniques. It's within our scope if you have that certification. It's the best one out there because we teach you corrective exercises as well, but it helps you be the professional. You're not depending on a trigger point ball or a massage ball, which makes you irrelevant. If the individual has some discomfort in their shoulder, their knee, their hip, implement those soft tissue mobilization techniques. It is a game changer. So then do appropriate warm-ups. Calf raises. If that individual is a hiker, you need to make sure your calves are strong and can handle that repetition. If you start hiking, doing 30, 40 miles a week, the tissue overload, the capacity of that tissue will break down sooner or later. So we need to strengthen it. We should be able to do 25 repetitions single leg. Do variations of an airplane. I love that exercise because you take away the knee. The sartorius, gracilis, and the TFL are biarticulate muscles at the hip that also come down to the knee. So when you bend the knee like I'm doing right here, you're taking them out of the equation and you're focusing more on the glute med, which is a frontal stabilizer. And as you walk, you need to be able to stabilize in the frontal plane. And then let's do some band walk variation with some marches. You're going to go sagittal, go out in the frontal plane, control eccentrically. And let's do some push-up pike variations on an unstable surface because that's great for upper body. Lower body doesn't really do too much. 5 minutes, then you get into your first CCA. You take the core movement pattern that's specific to the individual. We are walking. Why would you do something that is fixed? It's fine to do, but I wouldn't base my program off of that. I'll probably do some type of side jumps into a single arm press, into something for the accessory, your trunk, which would be like a walk variation. Farmer's carry, I'm doing a waiter's carry here. You do that for 3 rounds. I would suggest starting out with probably 12 reps, 10 and 10. If you want to do 15, 12, and 10, that is fine. Lighter weight to strengthen ligaments and tendons and to optimize the competency of that movement. 3 rounds for that first circuit. Then you go into the second one. We're going to do a unilateral forward lunge, which will be very specific to what they're trying to get better at. Single arm row. I like that, the split stance, because it takes pressure off the low back. Nothing wrong with the bent over row, but if we haven't done that regularly, it's just a lot of stress on your low back, and most people have some type of low back discomfort. So let's start with the foundation and build to the bent over rows. And let's do some pay loss for some anti-rotation. We'll do that for 3 rounds, each set making it more challenging. The third round, instead of doing a bilateral squat, let's do some type of transition with the squat, like a Bulgarian or a goblet lunge variation. And then let's go into a landmine press or some type of single arm pressing and finish off on some rotational planks. So you're going to hold, you get some rotation in there, strengthening the core through 3 planes of motion. If you have time, let's get into some type of jump rope, push-up, pull-up, Metcon variation. This would be a perfect workout for someone who's trying to be more efficient at hiking. This would help with the aerobic component. Here we're getting the main movement patterns transition, which you would replicate while you're walking on logs and stuff, going through the forest. Watch out for the animals and all the crazy shit that's out there. Might need to bring a gun or some bear spray, but you're making it specific versus random exercises. Why are we doing 2 pulls? Why are we doing a push-up with shitty form? What's the basis behind your programming? Most coaches can't competently and confidently defend the why behind their programming. It's random freaking exercises. If you want to become a qualified trainer, get into our program where you get to ask questions, learning programming, anatomy, soft tissue mobilization, nutrition. We have special guests that are some of the best in the game that are going to level you up. Stop chasing random specializations by reading a textbook. Get hands-on learning like we offer with our weekend seminars, and that is why Lifetime and Equinox have partnered with Show Up Fitness. They prefer Show Up Fitness CPTs because we're the best out there. We're the most confident. We're the most competent. We understand the business, the trade of training and people skills. And when you go into an industry with those skills, you will become successful. And that's what I talk about in my book. If you like today's video, comment below. Keep showing up. I will send you a chapter from my book. Leave a 5-star rating for the podcast. And most importantly, big biceps are better than small ones. And keep showing up.